What unique challenges do Black American males face that mentorship programs can help address?
Thank you for asking me that question. What unique challenges do Black Americans face, especially Black American males face, that mentorship programs can address? The goal of mentorship is to offer support, not to determine I would say the journey of the person that you're helping, the African American or Black American as we call it these days. But it is really to offer a hand of support, and is also to offer a listening ear. So one of the things that a mentorship program can do, it can clearly give you a sense of support to let you know that you are valued. Especially within higher education, many of our institutions do not value the perspectives of African American males on no platform. So mentorship programs are important, especially for younger folk, because what it does is that it gives them, it kind of gives them a counseling office where they can go and share their concerns and express their needs and their desires.
How can mentorship programs be tailored to effectively support the personal and professional development of Black American males?
How can you tailor the programs to help African American males in general? That's a good question. One of the things you have to do is you have to talk to them, talk to the African American males, and kind of help them to map out their journey. Help them to decide what they would like their life to be. And one of the most important things to do is to share your challenges. Because often as men, we do not share our inner frustrations or emotions. But to share your journey, to share your good, and to share your bad. Often I will talk to African American males and I will tell them, Professor Henderson did this well. Oh, I didn't address that issue the best way. And as a result, I had this problem. Being a very highly successful man and having the sort of personality where people love me or they don't, I've been able to address many issues as I've gotten older, and I'm very clear in terms of who I am as a person. And so I think sharing your path, sharing your stories, but also helping them to come up with strategic goals in order to complete their journey.
What role do cultural identity and representation play in the success of mentorship relationships for Black American males?
In other words, should the mentorships for African American males only be other African American males? That's a complicated one, especially within higher education, because within higher education, sometimes you don't have enough men who are African Americans in leadership in order to make an impact. However, I think wherever possible, it is better for you to connect with an African American male who cares. However, if you are in a situation, for instance, a university that's an all-white university, and you don't have an African American male who can serve as your mentor, then what you do is you find someone who cares for you simply as a human. I always tell this story. When I was a student at San Francisco State, many, many years ago, back around 1977 to 1984, there were very few, if almost zero, African American males. I had one African American male professor who was a part-time professor, and he made the greatest impact in my life. I never will forget. He was a sociology professor, but I never ever experienced really having a 10-year African American male that I could speak with, and that really I could connect with. My speech patterns, my attitude, my personality. No one understood it. But I was fortunate enough to meet two Caucasian men who really developed a great interest in me, and they kind of took me under their wings. One was named Professor Dewey Camp, and another was my piano professor by the name of Dr. Herman Vanderkamp. And even though they were not African American males, I learned so much from them. I valued the relationships that I had with them. Would I have liked to have had the opportunity to have African American men in my life earlier, especially within higher education? Yes, but it wasn't available at that time.
How can mentors build trust and rapport with Black American males to create a supportive and empowering environment?
The ability to create trust is to share real sensitive issues that you're comfortable with as a mentor with your mentee. To allow your mentee to ask you questions and not always be right. Sometimes as the mentor, you learn from the mentee. Sometimes, to create a scenario and ask the mentee how would they address it. Sometimes I think as you do that, you develop an emotional bond between you and your mentee, if you are a mentor, and you're able to really build trust. And that's so very important, because people will take your advice not because you hold a title, but because there's an emotional connection and you have their best interest at heart.
What are some successful examples of mentorship programs for Black American males, and what can be learned from their approaches?
One example of a great program is the A2MEND program that's part of the California Community College system. This is a group of very powerful African American men who have taken the time to share their journey of learning and their journey of success with a lot of young professors, but especially a lot of young academic scholars, male scholars in particular. They have summer camps, they plan summer trips, they do a variety of things. They offer scholarships, they do a variety of things that give support. I believe that is one successful program. I also believe that a classroom taught by a great teacher can actually be a support mechanism for Black men. You don't always have to go to a conference in order for you to gain support. Sometimes you having a great teacher in a classroom who spends one-on-one time and takes the time to really care about you and to not always be looking at the clock, give you extra time. It's also a supportive network. You also have, in the Black community, many strong African American churches that are led by African American men. Sometimes connecting with a strong faith leader and being involved in a Bible study or a support male group is also a way of developing good support. I think the goal in these questions, and thank you so much for asking, is basically how can we improve life for men of color? And one of the things I could say, first of all, have a belief in God, but also secondly, have a trust somebody on earth, that hopefully somebody from your own culture that you believe really cares for you and love you. Thank you once again for allowing me the opportunity to answer these questions for you.